Are we alive? We are alive! Boo, dude! Welcome each and every one of you to the Haunted Hangout. I am the mighty Yellkaos, wishing you a happy October and a happy Halloween coming up. And I want to introduce you all to my special guest over to either side of me. I'm not quite sure which one. My very good friend, Kid Shoryuken.
Hello, everybody. Jim here. We are in the hellish month of my birth, and boy, it feels spooky already. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, see, and we're glad to have you. Now, Yuk, I want to tell you something. We're here mostly because I'm here to chastise the folks, because I got to spend some time with you on the Skype yesterday, on your birthday, all by yourself over there in Del Rio, Texas. And now I want everyone to take time out of your day this minute. I want everyone to wish Kid Shoryuken a very happy birthday. And if you don't subscribe to Kid Shoryuken, go find him on the YouTube, and then subscribe, and then drop a line on his page and tell him how great it is that he's still alive, and you wish him a happy, happy birthday. Anyway, welcome to Chaos tonight, but we're calling it the Haunted Hangout for the month of October, because as you know, I thoroughly enjoyed the month of October, and this is my kitty. I figure if we're going to be evil and Halloween-like, I might as well have a kitty. So, anyway, without further ado, we're going to talk about some things and some stuff and some places and other nouns. We might even have a few verbs, possibly adjectives. Adjectives are getting more expensive these days, so we'll have to look into that. But anyway, Kid Shoryuken. Now, we were talking about something. What is it we were talking about? We were going to talk about video games, weren't we?
We were. Oddly enough, we were going to talk about video games.
That's an interesting topic of conversation. I have no idea why you would want to talk about that, but that's all right. I understand that that you're doing some reviews. Is that right? Go ahead and plug these reviews for me. Tell me what you're doing.
Oh, that's correct. I am doing a series of reviews that I've now dubbed Shoryuken, because
bravo,
it sounds like Shoryuken. Isn't that clever?
That's classic, and I give you much kudos for the title.
Thank you so much. I'm quite the linguist, if I do say so myself.
And you're so modest.
Yeah, that too. Basically focusing now almost entirely on import gaming. Just recently did things like Initial D and Fist of the North Star and all kinds of stuff. I got a whole long list of games lined up. Japan only, and I review good games too. I don't review games that I just bitch about. Wow. Yeah, games I actually like, I review them. So that's what I'm doing these days. Not a whole lot else. I used to, I used to take the camera out with me because I live somewhere interesting, and I could give people a kind of like a little spiel about Japanese this, that, and the other thing, hard-off stores, arcades, all that good stuff. But now, as you mentioned, I live in Del Rio, Texas, which is a place that exists on the edge of the world. It's barren, it's ugly, it's boring. I have nothing now but a huge, huge pile of video games to play with, so I figure I might as well share a few of those with the fine folks on YouTube.
Well, at least you're at a point in your life where you need distraction, and you have distraction. That's very important.
Oh, happy day.
Oh, happy day. Because there's so many people that you could be doing other things instead of playing video games. Save the video games sometimes for the sad moments in life. Unfortunately, there's lots and lots of people who have lots and lots of sad moments. But I appreciate that, because as we were talking about before the program began, I can't do reviews. People have told me over and again that I should review this. I can't do reviews, and I have the absolute pinnacle of respect for people who, like you, that have the patience to sit down, and not just sit down and play the game, but to edit it and to say this and to say that, and break it down into a clear, concise package. I appreciate that, and I think that more people should appreciate people that do it well, and I think you do it pretty damn decently, if I do say so myself.
I love reviews. I love reviewers. Even when they're bad reviews, I still like them, because you can appreciate
Sometimes
the
when
effort.
they're bad, they're even better.
Yeah, because even if the person doing the reviewing isn't maybe the world's greatest linguist or the best speaker per se, you still have some pretty images on the screen to distract you, and that's always nice.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
See, there you go.
Utmost respect for viewers, big and small. And I do find it fun.
Yeah. Can I offer you some advice, though?
What is that?
I recommend that you don't do it very well, because if you get really good at it, you're going to have a bunch of 36-year-old men telling you that you don't know shit about video games.
I love it when 36-year-old men tell me I don't know shit
Yeah, then
about
it'll be
video
a
games.
big scandal on YouTube, and then, people get blown up and shit, and then they'll threaten to unsubscribe from you, and it'll be a big schmoz. You don't want that.
Why the hell else are you on YouTube if you don't want to at least have one or two scandals thrown in the mix?
I imagine so. I imagine so. In fact, that's something that I want to bring up on the show while we got a second. Speaking of scandals, I've gotten correspondence from a number of people, beautiful, wonderful people, that have just busted my balls with, where is the 8-Bit podcast, and how come you're not going to do a 8-Bit podcast? But chiefly among them, they want a new 8-Bit podcast, and there's plenty of surprises coming from the 8-Bit podcast, so, those of you that think that the 8-Bit podcast is dead and buried, it's summertime. It takes a little while to awaken a great beast from a great slumber. So, be patient. But there are some people that want us to discuss what I understand has been coined Gamergate. Now, you tell me, have you heard about this?
Oh boy, have I heard about it. Yeah, I sure did.
Well, tell me, what do you know about this? Because I've had people, I've never had so many hashtags thrown at me at once. Just hashtag this and hashtag that and so on and so forth, and some girl with a fat ass, and explain this to me, because I hope we're talking about the same thing.
Oh, it's from my understanding, it's basically gaming media, quote unquote, the gaming press, kind of in bed with some of the gaming developers, indie game developers, and kind of you're fucking this person and then giving them good reviews. And it's basically people running to back each other up, and they're making each other money, and so they're defending each other. Not just that they're fucking each other, but they're making each other money. They're in bed in a lot of different ways. Is this just that
one isolated instance with She Who Shall Not Be Named, or is there more of this, or is that what everyone's alleging?
Last I heard, because honestly I don't really pay it much mind because I find it quite disinteresting, but last I heard, it was multiple incidents across multiple websites, and that whole chestnut. It's not limited to a single incident, I guess. That's
okay. All right. See, that's what I imagine. See, and I'm glad that you were paying attention, because I was bored stiff with just the discussion. Anytime someone would begin to explain, it's like, oh, I'm getting tired. I think I'm gonna go have a yoo-hoo and not listen to you anymore.
I was bored explaining it to you.
See, I could tell. I could tell. And, I mean, bags under your eyes from having to talk about this sort of thing, It's a shame, and I apologize, and, that's just the way things go here sometimes. But, yeah, lots of folks wanted us to discuss the Gamergate. Myself and the guys on the podcast want to have a discussion about that. And if you didn't get that little conversation we had just a second ago, we were engaging in something called social commentary. We were discussing a situation that kind of befell YouTube, a couple of years ago. If you were around then, you know who we're talking about. And I think they're people from Fargo, North Dakota or something like that. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. The point is, I found it interesting at one point when we here on YouTube, and especially in the gaming scene, as we're referred, we had an instance where there were manufactured drama. Now, I have worked in a theme park in one point in my life, so I'm no stranger to manufactured drama. But now, manufactured drama didn't seem to work, so now we have manufactured scandals and crises. Gamergate is not a problem. Gamergate seems to be some sort of a Vince Russo-type swerve, some big explosive noise to get you to pay attention to people who weren't that interesting in the first place. And so that's what we're left with. We have a bunch of uninteresting people talking about other uninteresting people about something that's just pure uninteresting. So, this thing that I said we weren't going to talk about, and now that we've since talked about it, I think we've cleared that up. Wouldn't you say, Mr. Shoryuken?
I would say so, absolutely. A lot of these names that popped up, I'd never even heard of them before this little debacle, air quotes around that. Yeah, I hadn't heard of them before, and I kind of wish I hadn't heard of them now, but I'm over it.
Absolutely. And it's a shame to me because Uh-oh. NT1138 is cheating, and he is sending text messages to get in front of me and get in my attention. We're going to look at Ed in just a second, but what was I talking about before I was so rudely interrupted by a coin? What was I saying?
I think you were concurring with my over it.
Yes, that's right. Oh, yes. And people like us are supposed to respond to these things, and this kind of goes back to what I was saying some months ago about how a lot of people treat YouTube, their favorite YouTube personalities, the same way they treat their very favorite professional wrestlers. There is a handful of people that would love to see Yellkaos and Kid Shoryuken go beat the piss-in shit out of Luke Plunkett and Alex Plant, or whoever that's over at whatever goddamn website. You know,
which we could easily do, by the way.
Which we could easily do, but, you know, that's not really how this sort of thing works. And really, these are insignificant people who treat you like you're nothing but insignificant pieces of shit and expect you to do their bidding for them, expect you to shovel their shit, and they want you to give them money, too. So, I recommend you ignore these people because, really, I'm spitting all over everything. That's a real shame. Ruining this program. But it's manufactured drama, and I really hate to take what's supposed to be a high ebb point and drag it down, but all this time that you're spending with your drama could easily be spent playing video games. I don't know, maybe, I mean, I guess that's sort of a novel concept, but anyway.
I think you've got something there, though.
I know. Well, it seems like that's what you did. You know, you're over there playing the video games and
playing the games.
Now, anyway, Mr. Shore, you can entertain the folks, because I want to see what Ed T1138 said to me.
Entertain the folks. Holy fuck. Well, thank you for passing that on to me. Hey, I might as well...
Did I leave you out of shit creek? I'm sorry. No, he sent me an article.
Sitting here on my floor in my shorts, but okay, entertain people. You know, I have I'll give a quick rundown of what's coming up next. Anyone who gives a shit about what I do on my channel might like to know that coming up soon, you can see a review of Keiketsu Yanchamaru Karakuri Land 2 for the Famicom. Fun little action platformer with a little ninja fella going through different levels. My favorite stage in this game is actually a food level where you're attacked by boxes of fries and hamburgers and like strawberries on top of cakes and all that kind of good stuff. So that's going to be pretty fun. Famicom games. Always
Bravo!
Fun.
Bravo!
Always fun. Was that entertaining?
No, that was fantastic, and I hope that everyone takes advantage of. Apparently, Google has given us this new technology, and what it does is allow you to give us feedback in real time. But on this end, it doesn't appear to be working. So if it's working where you are, good for you, and I'll eventually find out whether or not you liked it in a few weeks. So, you know, at least we'll have that. And for those of you who are curious, this is not a doggy, this is a kitty. I just wanted to share that with the fine folks. I know that this program has been away for a little while. It's been a little over 3 weeks, which, you know, it could be worse. I mean, you haven't heard from Saint and Magnus in a few years, so, you know, it could be worse, I suppose.
I gotta cut you off for a second.
On my goddamn program, I beg your pardon?
Well, something I just saw something that roused my ire.
Rousing, you say? Well,
yes.
Lay it on me.
Ed has referred to me as a howdy-doody-looking motherfucker.
I've never gone along with that. I've always said you've bared a strong resemblance to David Graff. For those of you who don't know David Graff played the character of Sergeant Eugene Tackleberry in the Police Academy movies. Now, Jim, say hi.
Hi.
See, there he is, right there.
God, well, there's a lot of happy birthdays in here. Thank you, everybody.
See, there you
except
go.
for this. This guy says Merry Christmas, but I appreciate the, the effort.
I don't know. I hope he's not insinuating that I look like Jesus, because that's gotten quite old over the years.
You see, this person says it's great that I'm still alive. It makes a man feel good to hear someone say that. You know.
See, isn't that wonderful?
He's still alive, yay!
See, and you wonder, you had to come all the way to Chaos tonight just to get some birthday love, but that's all right. That's all right.
I feel appreciated. Well, you know, my old lady takes care of me.
I heard about that, and I heard that your sister's dentist is Korean. Is that true?
Oh Lord. Oh, should we go through that?
No, we're not going to do that. I just, I just want to
Yeah.
plant a seed because now everyone knows that we're doing an inside joke and they're not in on it.
Yeah, just
And
the
then they're going to ask you or they're going to ask me, and then we're going to try and explain it. We're going to totally butcher it, and then they're not going to want to talk to us anymore.
I'll just lay the groundwork. My fiance is Japanese. My sister's dentist is Korean and old. Work it out.
I can just hear the angry letters pouring in. I love it. Anyway, want to say hello to everybody that made it out if we forgot to do that before the beginning of the program here. But I want to say hi to everybody and once again wish you a happy October and a happy Halloween. We're going to take some questions here in just a minute or two, just making sure that we got all the formalities out of the way. And now who's here? Who's here? Ed T1138 is here, which is fantastic. And the Shadow Leader Will is here. We got a whole bunch of nice people that usually show up. So
Kit 171.
Kit 171, Kit 171, as we've said on this program a number of times, who attends every live stream there ever was.
Good man.
Good man. I've always said I wanted to watch all the wrestling that there ever was. I was wrong, and I'm not the man that Kit 171 is because he's at every live stream and has something to say at every live stream, which is very impressive. So anyway, I'm going to take a question right now, because we're at that point of the program where I like to start taking questions. And my good buddy, Nicholas Kennedy, the Ultra Brutal Fatality, asks me, and Jim, if you want to jump in on this, I'd really appreciate it. He says, would you agree that Testament and Creator are easily some of the most overrated bands in metal? Well, I will not go so far as to call them overrated. I will go so far as to say that Testament probably could have hung it up a couple of albums ago, and Creator, regardless of what you think about their records, they bring the live show they bring every single time. So, do you have any thoughts about that, Sure?
I like both bands. I don't hold either one up on a pedestal, but I can say that I haven't heard anything from either one that I didn't like.
I heard that I think it was the most recent album from Testament, The Dark Roots of Earth, and I didn't care for it very much.
Well, then I have to admit I haven't heard any recent Testaments songs. I still listen to Over the Wall every once in a while.
Well, everybody, so do they. That's why stuff sounds the way it sounds. But no, I won't go so far as to say that they're overrated. I've seen Creator a number of times, and I've never been disappointed by a Creator show. I've seen Testament a number of times, and I have been disappointed by a Testament performance. Only once out of like 6 or 7 times. So as far as records, I mean, let's face it, both of those bands don't have terribly wide range. But you know, it's kind of like. It's kind of like the people that religiously, eat at McDonald's. They know what they're getting, and that's what they're putting their money toward. So, not everybody can be Dream Theater. Not everybody can and well, Dream Theater is not really the band they once were, but not everybody can be a very wide, diverse band. Especially this is music predominantly marketed to teenagers, and teenagers are not really interested in range. They're interested in satiating a need, it seems.
Yeah, 2 good bands, but I don't really listen to people's opinions enough to be able to gauge whether or not they are or are not overrated. So
absolutely, it's something that I've learned through my years of being involved with heavy metal in one way or another, is that you'll get a whole bunch of middle-aged dudes telling a bunch of young dudes what is or is not gay in terms of heavy metal, and it's like you're talking to a guy that's like 50. That hasn't bathed and has an autopsy shirt that's older than you are. That's not cool. That's a cry for help. So.
Back in my day, metal was metal.
Well, when was this? Like 1992?
No, I'm impersonating one of those old fuckers you were talking about.
Oh, so you were under the impression that I was describing a late 19th century prospector?
Yes.
Oh, all right. Well, good. I'm glad that really came across evenly, because that's always important.
That's how I represent anyone over 40.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, okay. By making the old codger references?
Yeah, after 40, you're dead to me.
Oh.
That's
not going to be very good for your YouTube career going forward. Because I found out something. I'm quite popular with a handful of retired folks. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't understand it, but I'm glad to have them aboard.
The elderly love you because you're a nice young man.
I try my very best. I really do. I mean, as I've told you, people love to take a picture with me. They don't really want to talk to me, but they love to take a picture with me.
Highly photogenic man.
Anyway, so Tyler Bora wants to know what's in store for this year's Monster Mash. Well, you're looking at it. This is the first installment, and it'll get more interesting as we go forth. If I just give it away right now, you won't be surprised, and then you'll be all, it's a sack of shit. But if I could tell you anything else that you need to do throughout the holiday season, and I tell you this every single year, you need to take your ass over to Cinemassacre.com and check out James Rolfe's Monster Madness. I'm not a huge fan of the Angry Video Game Nerd, but Monster Madness is some pretty neat reviews, so go check that out. I look forward to that every single year. I say that honestly.
Yeah. His passion for movies matches or outdoes his passion for video games easily, and he does some. Always love his movie reviews.
Oh, absolutely. Does a fantastic job. So let me see here. I'm just pouring through the questions. So, and guys, feel free to ask Kid Shoryuken a question because he's a handsome guy with a lot on his mind. So, please feel free.
And I want to
Keldy of the Horse wants to know why I look weird with a beard and mustache. I don't know. I have a beard all the time. And just let it be dead right there.
That's gold. You do have a beard. That's right. That's crazy.
I do. It's some people haven't noticed, and that's okay.
What a revelation.
Most people, most people realize this after a little while. So, anyway, there was, I've been getting, let me see here. Dean Thomas wants to know, have you played either of the System Shock games? No, I can't say that I have. Kid, you got any thoughts on System Shock?
I don't think I've ever played. I've heard from a lot of people that System Shock 2 is supposed to be some kind of masterpiece, but I've never played either of them, actually.
Oh, well, that's a shame. Merritt 2014 wants to know if we think the Annabelle movie is good or shit. I'm not familiar with Annabelle.
That's the
Which one's
the
that?
one? I don't know. I'm gonna sound stupid if I ask if that's the one with what's her face, Scarlett Johansson.
I don't know, and
She has
since
psychic powers.
I'm lazy,
It's a
I'm
chick's name.
Oh,
I don't know what Annabelle is.
I'm not clear. Kit 171 asks about the Full Metal Vegas and the Classic Gaming Expo, and Uke, did I bombard you with that story already?
You did not. You started to tell me about it,
Yeah.
but then you kind of trailed off there.
Yeah. I think I wanted to talk about happier topics. Because I know that Ed T1138, he got the full brunt of it. He asked, and he just got a avalanche of information. And there wasn't that much, but it was a lot of complaints. And if you guys want, I'll lay out the story because the Full Metal Vegas footage didn't turn out the way I'd hoped. And, I mean, if I could give you the short version, it was a bit disappointing, regardless of what Gamester81 has to say about it. But I can lay out the story, so if you guys want, maybe a little later in the program, I'll give you a condensed version. But let's have some happiness before we have some sadness.
Okay. I now recall you telling me about that, though, actually.
Yeah, it was a bit disappointing. But if the kids want to hear the story, we'll
I related it to my some of my recent Tokyo Game Show experiences.
Yeah, you said you were underwhelmed by the Tokyo Game Show. Is that correct?
Yeah, for like the last couple of years I wasn't too happy. First couple of years I was floored, and then after that it just became old news.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a shame. That really is, because where do they have that?
The Tokyo Game Show?
Yeah.
It's at what the fuck is it? It's a big site. It's
in Tokyo.
I forgot. No, it's actually not in Tokyo. It's outside of Tokyo. I think it's in Kanagawa.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Makuhare Messe is what it's called. It's just a big kind of convention hall or whatever.
Exhibit hall type thing.
Yeah, and
Okay.
that's where they have it every year. It's actually not in Tokyo though, despite being
Well,
called the Tokyo Game Show.
well, I mean, it's probably closer to Tokyo than it is to Sapporo, right?
Yeah, it sure
Yeah.
is.
So if you're picking
So
major cities, there's not a whole lot to go by in Japan.
they could just call it the Japan Game Show or something.
Oh,
The
yeah, that sounds
Japan
really good. Yeah, the Japan game.
the Japan Game Expo or some random shit like that. But no, Tokyo is the known city. It is known. Hey, there's a question for me. Do you mind if I read it off?
No, no, feel free.
It's from Pilot Amoro Ray. Amoro Ray. I don't know. Is that an anime reference?
I
He
think
says,
so.
"Oh, Amuro Ray. What the fuck is that? Is that a Gundam reference maybe,
I would
or
imagine
something?
so. I'm not good with Gundam myself.
I don't know. It's Pilot Amuro Ray. I don't know. Maybe he'll explain it to us." He asked how long I was in Japan and why did I come back to the United States. I was in Japan for 4 years. I lived in West Tokyo. I came back to the United States for work. I'm contracted to my current employer. So when they needed me here in Texas, I had to come here to work. But my contract is up in July. So I may, well, not may, I will indeed be going back to Japan indefinitely. But yes, I was there for 4 years to answer your question, good sir.
Oh, well, fantastic. We got another question here. What are some good racing games? You in the mood to talk about some racing games there, kid?
I'd love to. I just reviewed a racing game,
Well, a
actually.
little later, you did an initial D game, didn't you?
I did. I reviewed an initial D game. It's probably lying around here
Well, tell the
somewhere.
folks what your feelings about initial D.
I like it very much. When it was big, I didn't get into it for whatever reason. Those initial D cabinets were in, if you had an arcade near you, probably in like the mid 2000s, somewhere around 2005 or 2004, there were probably some initial D arcades setups in there. And I had some friends that were really, really into it. It's a drift racing game, so it's, I guess, kind of a high skill racing game. At least I think it is because I found it really fucking difficult.
It is.
Um, but in the arcades, you had these cards that you could get, these initial D cards, and I guess it stored your information about how many points you'd accrued, and you could buy more parts for your car and stuff. And so you could modify your car in the arcade, and it was real personalized and very cool.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been popular for a really long time. I'd seen them all over the place, but I just wasn't, I guess, hugely interested in drift racing. I didn't really care. But coming home, opening up a tub full of PS2 games, a lot of them I just bought before leaving. I hadn't played them yet, so I sat down to play Initial D, and I became addicted to it right away. And I said I have a lot to say about this, so I might as well review it. So Initial D, I like that series of games now. I'm into it, big time.
Fantastic, fantastic.
Oh yeah.
I say, you know what always surprised me about uh, not just Initial D, but there's another one I think by Bandai Namco called Battle Clash.
Battle Clash, not
Is it
familiar.
is it Battle or Battle something? There was some arcade. Anyway, one thing I noticed with those games, I don't know why it is, but it seems like the older cars are really sleepers. Like I think is in one of the Initial D games allowed me to use like a 1989 Toyota Corolla sport model, and
Yeah.
I kicked the shit out of everybody with that old piece of shit. I don't I don't understand how that worked, but goes to
Little
show.
did they know. Little did they know that was perfect for drifting.
It was fantastic for drifting, as a matter of fact. They didn't do that on purpose, but hey, the Japanese are the ones that gave us the drifting by breaking the law in the first place. So good for them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They brought us some good fodder for some video games.
Yeah. See, I'm glad you brought out Initial D because I was just going to talk about Daytona.
There's
I
nothing
love
wrong with Daytona.
I love Daytona. In fact, at the Classic Gaming Expo, I got to play Daytona in the arcade as well as on the Dreamcast on one of the most disgusting controllers I ever saw, and I had to immediately walk all the way across the goddamn property to find a bathroom to wash my hands because ugh.
I assume you would want to keep some hand sanitizer on you when you go to one of these retro gaming expos.
I usually do, but it was beyond the realm of what hand sanitizer was going to help with. Like, someone put chocolate on this, and I
You
was
thought it was
disgusted.
chocolate.
Huh?
You thought it was chocolate.
No, it was chocolate. I was certain, and I was very relieved. Relieved is the only word that could describe the emotion.
So someone was eating some Nutella, and then they picked up the Dreamcast controller without washing their hands.
Yeah, they put it on an English muffin, and then they came. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what happened.
Inconsiderate prick.
Yeah, well, what are you gonna do? Somebody asked about have I seen the Leprechaun movies? Yes, I have. And what can I say about them? If you've seen them, you've seen them. You're not going to notice anything new if you watch them again.
Those are pretty fun movies to watch.
They're more fun if you watch them after having watched Willow.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Little Warwick Davis.
Yeah,
he's excellent as the Leprechaun, though. Except the Leprechaun in the Hood movies. I don't understand I mean, the premise was bad to begin with, and then they have the Leprechaun go back to the Hood. I mean, was that first Leprechaun in the Hood really so successful?
Well, they keep making the scary movies.
Yeah, and I don't understand the premise, because prior to that, the Leprechaun was in space, wasn't he? I mean,
was he in space? I know Jason went to space.
No, Leprechaun goes to space.
Leprechaun went to space?
He goes to space at some point.
My goodness gracious.
But after he goes to space, he goes to the Hood.
Oh, all right.
I think that probably had a lot more to do with budget constraints than...
Well, I mean, they could afford the powerhouse talent that is Warwick Davis. I mean, how could there really be budget problems?
Well, I guess they couldn't afford sets.
Oh. Well, they had that problem with the Batman show, too.
Things like that. Things you kind of, usually you think you need to make a movie, but no, you just...
No, I mean, hey, they made the Batman series for a couple of months with no sets, so... Just an archway that said the Riddler's hideout. So they had that going for them.
It can be done.
Matt the Tin Tan Man wants my opinions or our opinions rather, on Game Champ. I haven't the vaguest idea what a Game Champ is. Is that a game store of some kind?
I don't know what Game Champ is.
You don't know? You got no idea?
No.
All right. Well.
No clue.
We tried. I wish I knew what Game Champ was. One thing I can say about game stores, there's no game stores closed around here. Of course, there were not really any to begin with. The only game stores we have here are like A7-something games in Oceanside, and then we have Luna Video Games in South San Diego.
Believe it or not, there is a retro game store in Del Rio, Texas.
Where in the piss is there a game store in Del Rio, Texas, and how long before they fold?
It is a store called Maximum Level Games.
Maximum Level, yeah, because that's about as good as they're ever going to do.
Yeah, because I went on Facebook. I went into a OKT 420s forum because I assumed there might be a number of people in there from Texas. And then I was just throwing it out there, hey, does anybody know of any game stores, or is anyone in my area that wants to, hook up and maybe buy or play some games? And someone told me that there was this store, and they directed me to their Facebook. And it seems like the guy does good enough business. He runs Street Fighter tournaments, and he's got imports, and he's got rare stuff in there. He posts all over his Facebook. I've been too lazy up until now to actually go to the store.
Uh-huh.
But I think when I get desperate enough and I really do need the cash, I'll probably drop by. Not buying anything, though.
Yeah, no, never pay retail price.
Well, I'm in super saver mode right now. You know this.
Oh yeah, well, no, I mean, I'm one of the cheapest men that ever lived, so don't think that I don't know. And we're also, I think, both at that point in our careers where we're absolutely swimming in games.
Thank you for calling it a career, by the way.
It is. It's not quite a religion, and there is a work ethic involved. I am serious. It really is. It's not quite a religion. It's close, and it's something you think about all the time, so it must be a career of some kind.
I have always wanted to be a religious figure.
Well, I'm sure Jesus said the same thing, and then they made the Buddy Christ, and all was well.
I would like that. If I was the leader of my own religion, I think I would want the symbol to be something akin to the Buddy Christ.
You
You
want
know, I
you
think
want to be a religious action figure?
yes. Oh yeah, I'd love that.
Okay.
This action
So
figure.
so you're essentially preaching to me the idea that if Vince McMahon ran a religion, there'd be action figures.
Yeah. Come on. Of course there would be.
Of course there would
I
be.
kind
There'd be a cartoon show on Saturday.
I want my religion to be kind of
The religion of
like when
maximum
they go into
occupancy.
when they go to Yogurt's Palace in the Spaceballs movie, and what they do there is merchandising. It seems all mystical, but really they're just putting the fucking name all over everything they can get their hands on. That's what I want my religion to be. A religion of merchandising.
Well, they already have that. They have movies, I understand.
Oh yes. Oh god, I can't wait too. I am so.
Are you looking for? Tell the people what you're so excited about, because you gushed to me about this for a little while yesterday. Tell the nice people about you and Mr. Nicholas Coppola and all the wonderful things that are about to transpire.
Yes. For those who don't know, Nicolas Cage is now going to be the central figure in the first of a new line, I'm assuming, of Left Behind movies, theatrical releases. If you don't know what the Left Behind series is, it's a series of books chronicling what happens to the people who are left on Earth after the rapture, when I guess all the good and decent true believers go up to heaven, leaving all the shitty bad people here on Earth to kind of like deal with the fallout. And they had made some movies based on these books. Unfortunately, they didn't have any budget, so they just had to get Kirk Cameron to be in it. And it's my understanding that they just suck ass. But now you have this premise, which I admit I think it's an awesome premise. It kind of almost on the same level as that what was that that Stephen King miniseries, The Stand, which I enjoy a lot. But you have this insane premise that comes from these wacko books, and you're at the head of this. You're putting Nicolas Cage, and I can't wait to see what happens. I think it's going to be great. I want to see these movies. I do. From what I understand, Nicolas Cage is an airline pilot, and he's on a plane as a passenger when the rapture happens, and both of the pilots, God absconds with both of the pilots, and Nicolas Cage has to save the day, I think, and I can't wait to see that. I want to see it so bad. That's what I'm excited about.
Looking forward to this one, are you?
Looking forward to it big time.
All right. Well, and make sure and catch the Harvest Crusade when it comes to your town, too.
Oh, sure. The base! Love it.
I don't know if they have those in Texas. We have that stupid shit and all, because all the stadiums we have in California, everyone figures, stadium, Jesus, natural fit, right?
I have to imagine there's got to be something like that around here.
There has to be. I mean, you guys, Texas is like the home to the concept of the mega church. It's like, way to really use development dollars. Let's put a fucking church here.
There's going to be a significant shift in the programming on my channel. It's going to be all religious based now.
It's going to be all religious based. Okay, well that's good. I mean, because it's either that or cops, right?
Yeah. Either cops or church. That's what it's going to.
Well,
I gave this video game thing a shot. It's not working out. I got to find another way to get this train rolling.
Frankly, I wish there were more cops in church. That's how bad religious types are. I like police more than I like religious types. Religious people actually make me root for the police. Shame on you. God damn it. Anyway. We got a question over here. Over on the Facebook. By the way, follow me on the Facebook if you guys have a chance, because I'd really appreciate it, because I'm real funny over there. And so
don't follow me
Huh?
Don't follow me though, because I
don't. Kid Shiro, you can. Do you even have a page on there? You do?
You know I have a page on there. Yeah.
Well, I guess I got the wrong formats in front of me. All right, follow Kid Shoryuken on the Facebook there. Are you on the Twitter?
No, I'm not on the Twitter.
Well, then you're a fucking loser. Don't pay any attention to this guy. He doesn't know what he's talking about, but he's on the Facebook, so check him out on the Facebook. And like I said, follow me on there, because sometimes it's kind of fun. So, and I I think that you guys that you do. And I also want to make sure that you guys know something that came up on the Facebook, and some of you who are in here right now were there and discussed it with me a bit. But here's a point I wanted to make, and these are the things you're missing out by not following me on the Facebook and the Twitter. But I said that you know what there needs, and Jim agreed with me. I said there really needs to be a JRPG, a Japanese role-play video game, that will help you learn to read or speak Japanese over the course of your adventure, similar in the way that Rosetta Stone works. And a lot of people agreed because, Jim, you'd say that's a pretty good idea, right?
I'd say that's a fucking smashing idea, Steven.
I think it's a fantastic idea. And now here's the thing that's very, very interesting, is there was some backlash, though. Some people say, well, I already know how to speak Japanese. Like, well, then wouldn't you be the first person to get in line for a beta and tell them, you know, what they did or did not do correctly? Think about this. We could finally come together as a community and all learn how to pirate games effectively. I think that's important.
That's a great idea.
I think so. And, you know, they said I was mad, but I said, not mad, I'm just, you know, slightly perturbed.
Well, there's so many people that are enthusiasts of Japanese gaming, and cognizant of the fact that there's a lot of stuff that gets released there that they don't get wherever they might be. And I think something like that, a game that can be fun and educational at the same time.
Absolutely. It seems like they don't mind doing both of them separately, but you could merge them. That's, in my mind, that's really the next step in video games. Edutainment needs to take a step up and actually be fucking entertaining and actually educate people. If you can do that, that can carry video games into the next era of prosperity. I know it. On the other hand, we got a bunch of people that would rather just sit around with their thumb up their ass and not know anything. So, what the hell do I know?
You got to find someone with a lot of money and then tell them it's this idea.
You know, it just doesn't really seem like it's something that would require a lot of money. And my question is, how come no one has thought of this yet? Why am I the first person to say this? And I'm probably not the first person to say this, but why am I the one, this guy on YouTube, I don't make video games, but I had this idea. No one else has put money behind this idea. I see a whole bunch of bullshit on how to get my name on the front of a video game, but I need to ask you for $40,000 goddamn dollars to have it made, but I've never seen anything that will benefit the community as a whole. And I think that's important, and I want to know why steps have not been taken.
You got to take that first step, man. Reach for that brass ring.
See, that's the problem. I don't make video games, and I don't speak Japanese. I am the totally wrong fucking person to put this in the lap of.
You don't have to make the game, Steven. You're a big picture guy, you know.
Well, that doesn't mean a goddamn thing. I'm just some guy on a screen with a microphone, and by the way, Vincent Price in the background. You know, but someone needs to find out how to do this and make it so, because I need to learn to speak Japanese, because I need to play the early Fire Emblem games and get all that there is to them out of them. This is more about me than in a community. See, I see that swerve I just did on you. See, this was actually just a ploy to teach me to enjoy life, as opposed to helping any of you motherfuckers, which means I would be perfect to be your president, and I hope to run for your president in 2024.
I'd vote for you.
You say that now, but then when it's time to go to the poll, where are you going to be? You're going to be over at the 7-Eleven drinking a Slurpee saying, I was supposed to be somewhere today.
I want to be the Secretary of Defense.
You want to be the Secretary of Defense?
That's how you'll get my vote.
Don't you have to, well, that's cronyism. That's against the rule.
You're going to have to change it to the Secretary of Offense.
Secretary of well, that's essentially what it is already.
That's going to be super awesome. I'd be so awesome if I had control of all the militaries. I wouldn't do anything with them, though, I swear.
Just take them, make them all wear dresses. Nice dresses.
That would be something.
It's like, if we're going to throw away millions and billions of dollars, the least we can do is entertain ourselves with it.
I think I'd make standard issue that rocket launcher that shoots chainsaws.
No, the one that shoots sharks.
The
one that shoots the live great white sharks. You have to give that. No, you know what? But that's what we should do. You should make everyone in the United States Armed Services, especially commissioned officers, wear dresses, nice ones. However, it's important to note that they should probably get a step up in pay. Enlisted persons anyway. Commissioned officers will have to take a slight pay cut and wear dresses.
Yeah.
Hope my father-in-law can't hear me, because then I'm going to be in trouble.
They have their
Um,
buttholes reamed out by the enlisted folk on a
yeah,
weekly basis.
you don't know what it's like, man. But let me see here. Oh, we got a question from apparently someone who's only been following me for a short time, Mr. Andy Thompson. And Andy said Andy has a strangely film extra name. But he says he's a newer fan. I appreciate that. And he says he's wondering my opinion on the Star Wars movies. Well, that depends. The upcoming Star Wars movies, the newer Star Wars movies, or the first Star Wars movies? I'll lay it on the line for you right now. The Star Wars film, Star Wars toys, Star Wars books, Star Wars food. Don't care. I'm glad that you guys enjoy it. I really am. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like specializing in early 90s WWF stuff. It's a bunch of characters. That is all. Anyway, and he wants to know, do I like horror movies? There's a horror movie going on in the background. Of course I like horror movies. And what kind of horror movies? Most of them. Except for I don't care for the torture films.
I'm
Are you
with you on
familiar with
that.
those, you?
Yeah, Hostel and
Hostel and
some of
Saw. I'm
Saw,
not.
some,
I
of the
keep
latter
I
latter
keep Jigsaw
long-term
on my
movies.
desk, just for good measure. But I really like the first two, and then I kind of had to cash out because it was just, it's one thing to see blood, it's another thing to see cartilage and, because they get really graphic and show like that, black venular blood, and it's like, ew, you guys. Ugh.
And it loses the horror aspect. Now it's
It does
just
because it's it's
it's
kind of like,
shocking.
well, it's not shocking because it's kind of like they say the best way to get over a phobia is to face your fear. But the problem is if you're made to look at a pile of blood with puke and guts and venular blood and intestines and cartilage in it, you will soon become desensitized to that, and then you don't have a genre anymore. Similar to something you and I have discussed about how hardcore wrestling kind of desensitized the wrestling audience. Same overall idea.
Yeah.
The same way that extremists in politics have desensitized, what is cable news.
If I could say on the subject of Star Wars,
Sure, go ahead.
love,
I'm sure.
love the first three films. Bored to tears by the prequels. Not even hateful of them, just indifferent because they're so fucking boring.
They're essentially
And
like non-movies.
they are. They're just terrible. They're framed so shittily. It's just everything is an excuse to move on to the next scene where a bunch of CG shit blows each other up or something.
Yeah, and it's all the right screen wipe
Yeah.
every time.
Boring fucking films. But I am hopeful for the coming Star Wars films. I don't think Disney's gonna drop the ball on this one.
I think
they're
you're setting
gonna do
yourself up
better.
for disappointment.
I don't think so. I'm
No?
gonna be optimistic on this
You're
one.
gonna,
I
you gonna
am.
go out. You're gonna spend your $15 to see a film. My God, you don't even get to take it home. You just get to look at it.
I'll be there. I'll give it a shot this first time around. I'm gonna be hopeful. I'm gonna be optimistic. Although I will say it is kind of an eerie omen when Harrison Ford breaks his leg on the set of the Millennium Falcon.
I heard something about that. Like, ooh, that's
That's
I don't believe in bad juju or anything like that, but
But that seems like if there was if the bad juju was real, that would be applicable there.
I know. Well, here's the thing: if they start using like real human cadavers, they're gonna have like the poltergeist curse is gonna be on, like, it'll be like the episode 7 curse, and everyone's gonna die over like the next 11 months.
You've just instantly written a really great movie, though. If the Star Wars set is built on top of like an Indian burial ground or something. Like
In
that.
space.
Yes.
Yeah, so it'd
I
be on
like
top of
that.
a space burial ground, and
Yeah.
they used intergalactic Indian heads and headdresses, and they disrespected the culture, and then there was the curse of episode 7. And
And if we
J.J.
could
J.J. Abrams would be killed by like locusts.
Yeah, because if you can work Tangina into a Star Wars movie, instantly better movie. She makes everything better.
Zelda Rubinstein, I
Yes.
think she's still alive too.
I hope so.
Her and Craig Nelson, Craig T. Nelson, and
Coach.
and Jolene, whatever her name is, the mom. They all like escaped that. Everyone else got to die. I don't know. I mean, good for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got to do coach after that. So, like, did they die so his career could move on?
Well, Coach
Was
launched.
Heather O'Rourke gonna host Coach, and then like she died, so then they got Craig T. Nelson?
Well, Coach brought us that guy that does the voice of Patrick Starfish. So
Oh,
some good.
Bob Fager,
Yeah,
Bill
some good
Fagerbeck.
came out of that.
No,
Good
yeah,
came out of
that's my favorite part of SpongeBob. I was like, oh, good, he got work. Good for him.
that.
That was kind of like like a lot of things. There's people who like I'm happy that Paul Rodriguez is getting work. Like whenever I'm at my mom's house and the TV's on, there's a commercial with Paul Rodriguez. Like he's still alive. Good for him.
Does
Same thing
make
with
you
Don Rickles. I'm just like like I don't really care what you're doing or what you're advertising. I'm just glad to know that you're alive and not starving.
Don Rickles just deserves to have money. He's fucking hilarious.
Oh
Who
yeah, when
doesn't
you
like
see him in
Don
the street, you
Rickles?
want to give him money out of your pocket. Here.
Yeah, say something insulting to me, please. I want to be insulted by Don Rickles. That's got to be a real thrilling experience.
I understand he'll apologize afterward. That's a real shame.
Yeah, I don't want that. Don't apologize to me, Don.
Exactly.
Really go to town. Really point out my foibles, Don. That's what I want. If Don Rickles watches this show, I don't know. Maybe he does.
If he does, he only listens. I doubt he'd be able to actually see us.
How awesome would you feel if it turned out Don Rickles watched Yellkaos?
Well, then I tell him to fuck himself, just in hopes that he'd tell me to fuck myself.
Yeah.
Because then, like, my comedy career would be fucking complete at that point. I could quit doing this right now.
You could have beef with Don Rickles.
Right? Yeah, there could be that. I mean, Don would probably die like a couple of weeks later, but yeah, there'd be like heat between me and Don Rickles. Don Rickles takes aim on YouTube personality.
And then you're the winner. He's dead.
That's money right there.
And you can keep bashing him after he's dead, and he can't fight back.
Right? Yeah, you know what I could do? Yeah, I could just like talk shit about Don Rickles and pretend like I didn't know that he's dead. Like, motherfuck Don Rickles, him and his wife, he can kiss my ass. Oh, he's dead? Motherfuck Don Rickles anyway.
You'd be like, wonderful! Like that guy in Creepshow.
Yeah, there you go. The creep, you mean?
No. And the guy in the cockroach bit,
that guy, yeah.
when he hears over the phone that the other business guy killed himself, and he's like, wonderful.
Yeah. That's the one segment of Creepshow that
I know. I love that whole film, and I like the cockroach bit. They creep up on you, but a lot of chicks hate that scene. Chicks hate bugs. I think I got my I got my little lady to watch Creepshow with me once. Because she's very sweet and innocent, and I love really just tearing that down. Making her watch
You're
all
a
this,
dick.
making her watch all these horrible things and stuff.
Okay, so you're the one making the torture movies. I watched this little Japanese girl just be terrified.
Well, it's all harmless stuff. I mean, Creepshow and things like that.
Yeah.
But she absolutely hates bugs. So I did not prepare her at all for that last bit in Creepshow, and her reactions were priceless. I should have filmed some of that shit. I could be making money off of her right now, and God damn it, I didn't do it.
You actually just hit a memory cap. You reminded me of around this time, about, God, probably like 12 years ago, I think. Because I remember seeing a girl that was like that. Couldn't handle scary things. Would watch scary movies, but would spend the whole damn time under the blanket. And then try and be tough after the credits are rolling. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And I remember this girl. Am I ruining your story?
No, continue.
Okay, just making sure, because you were torturing a Japanese girl, and it was going quite well for you, and then I had to tell a story.
Torture's a strong word.
Okay. But so years ago, when I was working as a caterer, and I was dating a girl, and imagine that. And this is back before I had a cell phone. So she got me on my work pager. Pager! Going way back. Hit me on the work pager. And I'm like, well, I can't, I'm busy. I can't answer a page right now. And This is when we still had, you know, payphones in this country. If you don't know what a payphone is, ask your grandparents.
And pagers, apparently.
And pagers, and but in Japan you still got fax machines, so it's, you know, they still got that, so I don't feel as outdated. But so I get over to her house. This is like right around this time, you know, about 12 years ago, and I'm, you know, so I was a much younger man, and her name was Rebecca, and Rebecca, I'm go into her parents' house, open the door, terrified, runs from the couch all the way on the other side of the house, runs to me, grabs me, squeezes me, as though she's terrified. She says, "Thank God you're home." I'm like, why? What happened? She says, "They're in there. They're watching scary movies, and they're making me watch them." Like, you can go to your room. You know, it's not like they're bringing it into your room. But she's got me real tight, and I said, okay. Well, what movie are they? She's like, they're making. There's this other movie with a lot of stuff, and I can't handle it, and you have to come watch with me. I'm like, all right. What are they watching? And she says, it's called The Return of the Living Dead. And I had to hold my guts in because, and I said, sweetheart, that movie is a comedy. And she hits me really hard and she says, "No, it's not. It's scary. You're laughing at me like they are." And then she was mad at me for 3 days for pointing out that The Return of the Living Dead is a comedy.
It is, but I gotta admit, when I was a small child, the Tar Man scared me.
But this woman was like 20 years old. I'm not like dating a 13-year-old. She was 20 years old. So to that I say, women.
Yeah, what can you do? Yeah, I can only get my chick to watch horror films if I agree that we'll watch something kind of like Sweet afterwards to get her mind off of what just happened. And just for future reference, my treatment of my girlfriend, I don't want it to be referred to as torture. From here on in, I prefer the phrase emotional scarring. If we can just go with that.
Do you Well, if you're going to go that far, we might as well go with something like, okay, emotional scar. We'll go along with that for the time being until we get something much more catchy.
It's a catchy, fresh, new way to say
as soon as I can work the hate
scarring.
brand in there, that's going to be catchy as shit. It'll be like Marmite and stuff. It'll be really, really important.
Yeah,
So,
I'm gonna bust out a thesaurus and find some synonyms for emotional and scarring.
Okay, all right. Well, it's going to look kind of funny, but, you know, you do what you have to.
We're going to put something together here.
Is that what we're going to do? All right, well, that's good. Keldeo the horse wants to get a birthday shout-out, and he doesn't know if we're going to have a show on Monday. Well, maybe we will, maybe we won't. Don't know yet. Depends on how things are. But we'll give him a birthday shout-out. Keldeo the horse, happy birthday. I hope you're not really a horse, because I don't know if horse years and dog years work the same way. Do they? Anybody know? Nobody?
No, horses are bigger. I think they live longer.
Oh.
Because they're
I
bigger.
thought horses only live like 30 years.
Yeah, but a dog only lives on average like what? Maybe
Like
15
20
at
years?
best. No way.
No, I've got an 18-year-old Chihuahua at my mom's house.
Jeez, that's
Alive and
something else.
well, barks like goddamn loud-ass dog.
I thought dog years were like 7 to 8 years per.
They are. Well,
year.
it seems like big dogs don't live very long, whereas little dogs seem to live for fucking ever. And cats live a long damn time, too.
Yeah. I guess that's true. I do think horses outlive dogs, though.
Well, we'll see. Well, not if they throw a shoe. That was probably really mean to anybody who has experience with horses.
That's the truth, man. What can you do?
We can tell the truth some more. But anyway, I think we're getting towards the end of our program, so we're gonna call it a night because you know, we've talked, and what more could you guys possibly want? So we appreciate you for joining us here on the Haunted Hangout, and we hope you had a good time. We hope to see you next time on the Haunted Hangout. And stay tuned for more content right here on this channel, and stay tuned for more content coming to the Hate Bit Podcast channel. Also, make sure that you subscribe to Kid Shoryuken and follow him on the Facebook. You go ahead and plug your shit for me right now.
Oh, everybody, I implore you, go to the YouTube channel called Kid Shoryuken. It's your one-stop shop for all your import gaming needs. And while you're at it, follow me on Facebook. You can stay up to date on all things Jim, which is... that's a handy thing to do. So,
and he gives you a Class A alternative to Digital River, and that could not possibly be a bad thing. So anyway, I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us for the Haunted Hangout, and we'll see you later in the month of October. In the meantime, happy October, happy Halloween, and boo, dude! We'll see you next time. You guys take care of yourselves and take care of each other, and don't forget, boo, dude.
Don't forget to remember.
Don't forget to remember. Bye-bye.